I still remember what it felt like to walk into a Motel 6 when I was a kid. My family, we took road trips, and whenever we needed a place to stay for the night, my dad always chose Motel 6. I can still picture walking into a Motel 6 room. Back then, there were gold bedspreads and a tiny TV sitting on a shelf. In the bathroom were towels that were so rough they could practically exfoliate an entire layer of skin off your entire body. And the only thing I didn't like was having to share a bed with my brother who had cooties, and he wasn't thrilled about that either. But really, none of that mattered. We were on vacation, and part of the excitement was staying somewhere different, not at home, but in a motel. We didn't even have to make our beds. When we stayed at a Motel 6, my dad felt like he'd made a smart decision because he'd saved money. Maybe we'd even celebrate with a grand slam breakfast at Denny's the next morning. Here's the thing. Motel 6 understood something that a surprising number of businesses don't think about. They knew exactly who they were for, and they still do. Now, in the Uncopyable system, we call your ideal customer your moose. And here's the analogy. Imagine that you were an actual moose hunter. If you were intent on finding a moose, you wouldn't head into the woods hoping to just find any old animal. You'd have laser focus on only moose. You'd learn where they live, how they think, and what attracts them. And you'd ignore every other animal in the forest. Selling works the same way. Think about the difference between a Motel 6 and the Four Seasons. Neither one is better. They're just built for different customers. One promises a clean, comfortable room at a great price. The other promises a luxury experience. Neither company apologizes for who they are. Many years ago, when Kelly was little, we stayed at the Four Seasons in Vancouver, BC. Well, one night, we ordered room service. We'd had a long day, and we thought, ooh, hot fudge sundaes sound great. So we ordered 3 hot fudge sundaes to be delivered to our room. We knew what we wanted, and we didn't even look at the menu. Well, the sundaes were delivered on a beautiful silver serving tray with pitchers of hot fudge, whipped cream, porcelain bowls, every little detail you could imagine. And guess what the bill was? Over $100. And this was a lot of years ago. Maybe we should have looked at that menu. But people staying at the Four Seasons aren't buying ice cream. They're buying the experience. Neither the Four Seasons or Motel 6 waste time to become the other. So let's bring that back to your business. Too many companies focus on the wrong prospects. You can't sell a Four Seasons product to a Motel 6 customer. And if you use the spray and pray approach, as they say, the only way you'll reach your moose is by accident. Don't miss the critical question, the place that it all starts. The question should be, is this actually my moose? Something recently happened with one of my consulting clients. They called to ask me, do you think we should send postcards? Well, I said, who's your moose? And there was silence. I asked, who are you sending them to? What's the goal? More silence. So I said, then don't send a single postcard. Not because postcards are bad, but because you haven't decided who you're trying to reach. You're wasting your time if you just send stuff out. The moose is where it all starts, with clearly defined prospects, the ones who will actually buy. So before you start prospecting, before you spend money, get crystal clear on your moose. And here's a little shortcut. Think about your current customers. Which ones are your favorites? Who truly values what you do and gets you the best results? Who delivers the best long-term ROI? That's your moose. Once you've defined your moose, ask yourself one more question. Do the prospects I'm pursuing actually match that? If the answer is no, stop. Don't try to sell a 4 Seasons experience to a Motel 6. They're not going to buy. It's worth spending the time to strategize. When you're talking to the right people, you can teach them, reach them with the right message. Your message, in fact, acts like moose bait. It attracts the prospects who will actually buy. As you're listening to this, you might already have a moose in mind, someone you'd love to meet with, but you can't seem to get in the door. Well, I just developed a program about uncopyable secrets to get in the door, to get those meetings with the hardest to reach prospects, specific tactics for landing meetings. And if you want to learn more, go to beuncopyable.com/get-in-the-door. Now, my advice, successfully closing sales starts when you choose the right target, because closing the right target is a whole lot easier. Start thinking of yourself as a moose hunter. Don't try to sell everybody. Go find the people who are the best fit for the value you bring, because our success at closing sales starts when we choose the right target. Don't spend any time, money, or effort until you do that. This is one of the foundational principles in the Uncopyable system. It will make you more sales so you can beat your competition, because why not? So go out there and be a moose hunter. Thank you so much for listening, and always remember, be uncopyable. Thanks for listening to this episode of Uncopyable Women in Business. If you enjoyed it, please follow, rate, and review the show. And be sure to visit beuncopyable.com/K. Always remember, be uncopyable.